everybody, this is VisitJoan, and welcome back to The Sims 20th Anniversary Celebration Week. Over the past 20 years, the Sims team has made it fairly obvious that at times they are completely incapable of making good decisions. Exhibit A. Exhibit B. Exhibit C. Need I go on? And I'm sorry to any sim gurus who happen to be watching this video. You guys are great. It's a joke. It was supposed to be funny. However, there also were a number of times where the Sims team made some really fantastic decisions. In fact, some of these decisions were just so amazing that it was really disappointing when these decisions weren't carried out into future games. I think we've all had the experience where we expect one thing when a new Sims game comes out, only to load it up and be disappointed that it's not there. So, here are 5 things that need to come back to The Sims. Quick little disclaimer before we get started, guys, and that is this is basically based off of my opinion. And it's okay if you have a different opinion. In fact, I don't expect you guys to have the same opinion as me. However, I do expect for you guys to be respectful to other people. No more of this harassing others nonsense, okay? We're all sick of it. Also, the items in this list are in no particular order. They just happen to be in the order that I thought them up. So, there's that. Now, without any further ado, here are 5 things that need to come back to The Sims. Probably one of the best features of The Sims 2 was the memory system. Every time something significant happened to a sim, whether it be good or bad, your sim got a memory of it. These memories were stored in this little memory bank that you could go back and look at it. And it was really neat because, you could play out the family for a while, take a break, and then come back in 6 months, and there's the whole story right there. It was pretty awesome. Another good thing about these memories is that they actually help tell the story of the pre-made Sims. Without them, we would have never known that Bella Goth was in fact abducted by aliens, or that Lilith Pleasant's parents didn't teach her how to use a toilet. Like, seriously, don't you owe that to your child? And not only could your Sims talk about recent events, but other Sims could gossip about bad things that happened to another Sim. And then another Sim would hear about it and then gossip about that, and then, it just goes full circle. Like, if your Sim was having an affair, that information may eventually make it back to their partner. Although they weren't in the base game of The Sims 3, memories were added in a patch prior to the Generations expansion pack. But this system was a complete and total mess. Instead of a memory tab, each Sim got a scrapbook in which in-game photos were used to note memories. And half the time, they would never work. But regardless of that, the memories were just completely placed in the scrapbook in a random order. There was no way to tell what happened when. There was no story. It was just a random mishmash of stuff, and you really couldn't sort through it. In The Sims 4, however, this system was kind of a mix of the two. Memories in The Sims 4 consists of photos that you take in-game, but your Sim also had a little memory tab that all the photos and all the memories could be compiled into one place. Also, each memory had emotions, and you could even pick which emotion you wanted to associate with that memory. And your Sims could even reminisce about them, and they would get a moodlet in the respective emotion. Now, since I started playing The Sims 4 in March of 2018, I actually found all this out on the internet, and I spent a good 15 minutes looking for this memory thing, only to discover that it no longer exists. Apparently it was taken out in a patch of some kind in order to give it an upgrade. Yeah, it was more of a downgrade. Not only do Sims not have individual lists of memories anymore, but in order to access these memories, you have to scroll through every single photo you've taken of every single family. And given that it takes about, 5 to 15 seconds for the thing to load, if you're like me and you have a lot of photos, well, let me put it simply, ain't nobody got time for that. Oh my goodness, who thought this was a good idea? It was a very poor decision on part of the developers, and although I don't know the reasons behind it, I can guarantee you that it made the game, well, not as good. What I would like to see is a memory system that's sort of like The Sims 2 come back, where you can look at everything that's happened to your Sim, and if you play with the pre-made Sims, you can see everything that's happened to them as well. This would add a lot more depth to the game and make it much more enjoyable. My favorite life stage from The Sims 2 would have to be a teenager, because, well, at the time I was a teenager myself. but also because it was such a unique time in a Sims upbringing. There were so many things that just defined the teen stage as something unique and something completely different from all the other parts of a Sim's childhood. For starters, when you made them and create a Sim, they would just act like they really wanted to be anywhere but there. And it only got better gameplay-wise. There were so many unique things for teens to do. They could actually ask an adult for permission to go out and then go out with their friends. Or, if they didn't get permission or just don't think they will or just want to live on the wild side, they could actually call one of their friends and sneak out with them. They would tiptoe out of the house at 1 a.m. and come back at about 4 in the morning, and they'd also get a memory of it. Now, your Sim could get caught sneaking out by their parents, or if they happen to be really unlucky, by the police, who brings them back in a police car. Sneaking out to kind of like my Sims were kind of like a rite of passage, and I just miss that, you know? Another unique things that could happen to teens in The Sims 2 was that they could run away. If they had a negative relationship with everybody in the family, they actually would pick up and leave. Right then, right there. You just get notified, I'm leaving home, I'm through with you all, and the teen is gone. Then you have the parents call the police, and if reported within the first 24 hours, there's a good chance that the teen will likely come back. Things like this added so much depth to the gameplay. It was better for storytelling. It was just better to make the game more fun that they added these cute little details. And it was something I really expected to actually see in The Sims 3 and was completely disappointed that it wasn't there. And yes, I completely understand that The Sims 3 was open world, so sneaking out the way it did kinda wouldn't have made sense, but I mean, you could also go off on the lot at 1 a.m. in The Sims 2 and no one cared, so. Teens could also chill on playground equipment and actually play on the merry-go-round, which was really unique and fun. They'd also get acne and have to put acne cream on it, and they could torment their siblings by giving them noogies. The Sims 3 was okay when it came to teenagers, and Generations really improved that. But when it comes to The Sims 4, teens are just mini adults that go to school. That's it. There's nothing unique about them. I mean, parenthood did help some, but there wasn't anything specifically unique to teenagers. A lot of the features they just shared with children, like school projects and childhood phases. And yes, there were mood swings, but that just really isn't enough. I used to be excited whenever my Sims became teenagers. Now it's just like, yeah, they're teenagers. But I'd like to see The Sims 4 add is much more unique gameplay to teens. Make the teen years something special to stand out in a Sims childhood. Not that teens are children, but you guys get the point. A huge staple of The Sims games are relationships. They're critical for building families and storytelling and all of that stuff. And in the early days of The Sims, there was actually kind of a process that was fun to play out. Especially romantic relationships where you would, start with simple flirting, which was really kind of going out of my comfort zone at the time because I kind of thought flirting was dirty. You can imagine my reaction when I found out what playing in bed meant. What have I done? But it wasn't just flirting. You would charm, you would sweet talk, you could hold hands, you could serenade, goose your partner, stuff like that. And even better is when it came to kisses. You would start with a simple peck and then work your way up to a full makeout session. It was things like this that made building romantic relationships fun. I had a blast trying to work my way up and guessing when I was going to unlock the next interaction. Nowadays, we just have one flirt, one kiss, and you can't even make out while standing anymore. Which brings me to my next point, is that each object had its own unique set of interactions. Cuddling on a couch was different than cuddling in bed, which was different than cuddling in a hot tub. The couch had its own makeout. The bed had its own makeout. The hot tub had its own makeout. This made gameplay variety, and so it actually mattered where I had my Sims and what I wanted them to do. And there were also unique interactions that were added in expansion packs. Like Dine Out added the booth, where you could cuddle your Sims and hot smooch them. You could propose sitting on the table just out of the blue. And you could even slow dance. And while you were slow dancing, you could lower your hands or put your head on their shoulders or even do the classic dip kiss. The Sims 3 and The Sims 4 took all of that out, which was really disappointing because, well, that's what made the game fun. There were different games your Sims could play. Children would have different games. Teenagers and adults had games they could play, just individual games, you know? There was even an option to hang out where you would just sit in groups and chat. And although The Sims 4 has various different options besides chat, the lack of romantic interactions just puts a damper in the whole thing. It's just building up romantic relationships isn't nearly as fun as it used to be. And the fact that you can do these same animations on every single object is just disappointing. We need these unique interactions to come back just to bring some freshness to the game. Bring back all the different kisses, bring back all the different hugs, bring back the unique animations on different objects. That would make the game just so much more fun and unique to play. Probably the biggest new feature in The Sims 4 was the emotion system, and I know a lot of people say it's weak. Well, I don't know if a lot of people do, but several people do. But the good thing about it is when I make videos, I can now put my Sims in whatever emotion they need to be in, and so they're not just smiling because they have full tummies and empty bladders. Now, there used to be a bunch of cheats in the game where you could actually add specific movelets in the emotions that you needed. However, these were taken out in a patch update before the Seasons expansion pack, I believe, and I understand why they did it, because I don't want a broken game as much as the next person. But that doesn't make getting your Sims in the right emotion any less frustrating. Positive emotions are really no big of a deal because they're a lot the same, so it doesn't really matter if my Sim is inspired, focused, or energized. And also because being happy boosts any positive emotion, so you have that strong buffer against other emotions. The problem, however, is when I need my Sims in a negative emotion. Now, because I really just don't use mods, the best way for me to change a Sim's emotion is to use the cow plant drinks, and those give you a +2 moodlet. Now, there are several things I need to do in order to record, and one of the first things is I fill everybody's needs and disable the need decay. That's a +1 happy moodlet. And if they need to be sitting on a couch or something, they feel comfy. That's another +1 happy moodlet. And because I have them in sets that are well decorated, well, that's anywhere from +1 to +3. Add those all up, and now we've completely overrun the negative emotion I need them to be in. I don't care if the place is well decorated or if I'm sitting in a comfy couch. If something bad is happening to me, I'm not smiling. Basically what we need a better way to control the emotions without resorting to mods. There was talk about maybe putting more game-friendly cheats in the game, but nothing ever came about this. And it's something we really need to see come back because just frankly, getting your Sims in negative emotions is frustrating. And yes, if you're working with teenagers, there are mood swings. However, these come at a completely random time and you can't rely on them to be there when you need them. And last, but certainly not least, would be building off of previous Sims games. The Sims 2 was such an upgrade from The Sims 1 that I haven't even touched that game in 15.5 years. There were many aspects of The Sims 1 that you had to get expansion packs for that were actually included in the base game of The Sims 2. Community lots from Hot Date, base game. House parties, base game. Daily and lifetime relationships, base game. Therefore, the expansion packs from The Sims 2 were very different from expansion packs for The Sims 1, which added more to the gameplay. And also, there were many more features that were just happened to be added to The Sims 2 in general, like days of the week, different life stages. Oh, and I also need to mention alien abductions, because not only did they come back, but you also got to have alien babies. The Sims 3 did an okay job of doing this. There were cars in the base game that were taken from The Sims 2 Nightlife, and every one of your Sims had a cell phone, which you could get in The Sims 2 University. But there were several things that I liked about The Sims 2 that just weren't a part of The Sims 3. With some parts of The Sims 4, however, it just feels that we just went backwards. Like babies. Babies work pretty much exactly how they did in The Sims 1. That's not the direction games should be going at all. Each addition to the series should build off of the previous entries, not take stuff away. And it doesn't even have to be The Sims 5 that I'm talking about this. The Sims 2 allowed us to build our own apartment buildings, which we were never really able to do in The Sims 3 or The Sims 4. Although with the roommate system now, we kind of have a little bit better way to do it in The Sims 4, but still. And there's also some ideas from even back in The Sims 2 that just haven't been revisited, like hobbies And not to mention that the Sims 4 base game lacks so many game staples, like the scientist career. What the heck are you gonna do with Mortimer Goth if there's no science career? Or the fact that they had to patch in toddlers, which was really just a deal breaker for me and a lot of other people. But really, we should be taking the best of the previous games and putting it all into The Sims 4. Base game updates would be the best, however, it wouldn't be too disappointing to see it come in a pack either. And well, there you have it. Those are 5 things from the Sims series that need to make a return. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, I would really appreciate you leaving a like and a comment. And don't forget to subscribe if you want to see more videos in the future. Also, be sure to follow me on social media if you want to see fun facts or behind the scenes stuff. You can follow me on Instagram at VisitJoan. And if you want to see my thoughts on all things Sims related, you can check me out on Twitter at VisitJoan Videos. But anyway, I'm going to wrap this up here. I'll be seeing you in the next video. Bye!